Welcome back to our deep dive into the spiritual realm and the biblical worldview. Today we're exploring a lesser known yet significant figure in the Bible, Chemosh, the fallen god of the Moabites. We'll be examining the scriptural references to Chemosh, connecting the dots between his role in the Bible, and we'll look at some extra biblical sources that shed light on this mysterious deity. I'm Kevin Lehman, and this is Veiled Kingdoms. Let's pierce the veil. Chemosh is primarily known as the national god of the Moabites, and his name appears in several key passages throughout the Old Testament. Let's start with Numbers 21:29, where Chemosh is directly associated with the Moabites. It says, "Woe to you, O Moab! You perish, O people of Chemosh! He has given his sons as fugitives and his daughters into captivity to an Amorite king, Sihon." Here, Chemosh is portrayed as a god who has failed to protect his people, a prominent theme in the biblical narrative when discussing foreign gods. Now, moving to Judges 11:24, we see an interesting mention of Chemosh during Jephthah's dispute with the king of the Ammonites. Jephthah rhetorically asks, "Do you not possess what Chemosh, your God, gives you to possess? So whatever Yahweh, our God, has taken possession of before us, we will possess it." This passage is intriguing because it suggests that the Israelites recognized Chemosh as a legitimate divine power, albeit a fallen one. This recognition fits within the broader biblical theology that acknowledges the existence of other spiritual beings, but insists on the supremacy of Yahweh. 1 Kings 11:7 and 1 Kings 11:33 provide us with further context regarding Chemosh's influence. 1 Kings 11:7 tells us that, "Then Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the detestable idol of Moab, on the mountain which is east of Jerusalem, and for Moloch, the detestable idol of the sons of Ammon." This act of Solomon is a clear violation of Israel's covenant with Yahweh, leading to God's judgment. In 1 Kings 11:33, the reason for God's anger is articulated. He says, "They have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, Chemosh, the god of Moab, and Milcom, the god of the sons of Ammon. And they have not walked in my ways to do what is right in my sight and to keep my statutes and my judgments as his father David did." Now, the consequences of Solomon's actions are addressed centuries later during the reign of King Josiah. In 2 Kings 23:13, we see Josiah tearing down the high places Solomon had built for Chemosh and other foreign gods. This act of reform was part of Josiah's broader effort to restore proper worship of Yahweh in Judah. The book of Jeremiah also offers a significant commentary on Chemosh. Jeremiah 48:7 and Jeremiah 48:13 both prophesy the downfall of Moab, attributing their destruction to the impotence of Chemosh. "For because of your trust in your own works and treasures, even you yourself will be captured, and Chemosh will go off into exile together with his priests and his princes." This prophecy concludes in Jeremiah 48:46, "Woe to you, Moab! The people of Chemosh have perished, for your sons have been taken away captive and your daughters into captivity." These verses depict Chemosh as a god who is powerless against Yahweh's judgment. But to fully grasp the significance of Chemosh, we must also consider extra biblical sources. Archaeological discoveries, including the Moabite stone, also known as the Mesha stele, provide additional insights. The Moabite stone, dating back to the 9th century BCE, is a key artifact that references Chemosh explicitly. King Mesha of Moab credits Chemosh with victories over Israel, boasting how Chemosh allowed him to reclaim lands that Israel had taken. This aligns with the biblical depiction of Chemosh as a god who was believed to be powerful by his followers, even though he is ultimately portrayed as a defeated deity within the biblical narrative. From a theological perspective that acknowledges the existence of spiritual beings other than Yahweh, Chemosh could be understood as a fallen spiritual entity who led the Moabites astray. This view resonates with the broader biblical theme of spiritual warfare, where rebellious gods and lesser spirits are in conflict with Yahweh and his people. So, in summary, Chemosh is a significant figure in the Bible, representing the spiritual opposition to Yahweh from the Moabites. The biblical narrative consistently portrays Chemosh as a powerful deity unable to protect his followers from Yahweh's judgment. Yet, extra-biblical sources like the Moabite stone remind us that Chemosh was regarded as a potent deity by the Moabites, which further emphasizes the theological point that while other gods may exist, they are no match for the God of Israel. Understanding Chemosh and his role in the Bible offers us a deeper insight into the spiritual landscape of the ancient Near East and the biblical worldview that recognizes the reality of these spiritual entities while affirming the supremacy of Yahweh. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of Chemosh. And that's all we've got for today. If you've hung with me this far, I've got to assume this has been helpful to you. Please consider liking the video or dropping a subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're new here, we have a ton of content for you to hang out and watch. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.